What is good, YouTube? Warstu here with a video on Kevin Feige. So, I didn't see this one coming. So, if you didn't catch the report earlier, we did a video stating that Mr. Kevin Feige is now going to be directing a future Star Wars movie, and seeing as that's a dying franchise, yeah, maybe he's going to save the Star Wars universe. You know how he did with the MCU. Well, he didn't really save the MCU. He created the MCU with Robert Downey Jr. essentially. So what is interesting is we got the report yesterday of Kevin Feige nearly quitting Marvel. I know, nearly quitting Marvel. And then the next day, what happens is he's announced as producing a Star Wars movie. So Kevin Feige almost quit Marvel due to clashes with the SEO. Essentially, he nearly quit Marvel. Then literally the next day, I mean, this is talking about a story back from early 2000s. It's not a relevant story, but for some reason people were talking about it. But I didn't want to make an independent video on Kevin Feige nearly quitting Marvel when that wasn't even the case. So why I'm mentioning this is because obviously yesterday the story breaks, he nearly quit Marvel. Then literally the same day, obviously my time it would have been the early hours of Thursday morning, Kevin Feige producing a Star Wars movie in the future. So what is good, YouTube? Warstu here. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the videos. If the channel ever hits 100,000 subscribers, I will be giving away a PS4 Pro, or will that be a PS5? I don't know, whichever one it is. With Spiderman PS4, or is that Spiderman PS5? I don't know. Or an Xbox One X with Gears of War 5, or is that an Xbox Zinfandel with Gears of War 6? I don't know, it depends how long. So let's get into this video. So there's a lot of allegations being spread around the internet. So let's go back to an old story that was posted about Sony's CEO, Vincent Sincera, I probably butchered that, pointed to Marvel's boss Kevin Feige being stretched incredibly thin with the new additions coming to the MCU as one of the main reasons behind breakdowns in talk. So today I started getting tagged in something. So essentially what it was getting at was that Sony lied about Kevin Feige. Okay, let's break this stuff down. So essentially what was said, now it's important we get the dates here. Now, Variety posted this article on the 5th of September. So essentially this was an article about Kevin Feige being too busy with the new properties he got from Fox. You know, X-Men, Fantastic Four, Warstu franchise, and also, you know, Deadpool, except with all the like Galactus, Doctor Doom, and all them kind of cool stuff. So essentially what it's saying is he was stretched thin. Okay, so then what happens today is, yeah, your boy Kevin Feige's making a Star Wars movie. Not a Star Wars franchise, a one-off movie. So essentially what was happening on this article was they were saying that Sony lied about the deal. Now, this does not quantifiable say anything about Sony lying, because if you go back and read the freaking article, guys, nowhere does it say Kevin Feige confirms, Kevin Feige comments. This was a comment from, you know, the CEO at Sony Pictures. So Sony didn't lie about anything. They didn't lie about talking to Kevin Feige or anything like that. That was Sony's interpretation of why the business talks and everything broke down. But I find it interesting now that everyone's like, yeah, Sony lied because, you know, he's doing Star Wars. Star Wars is also owned by Disney. You know, it's very hard for a company to work with another company when they're not really getting a financial gain, even though they are getting a financial gain, being $1 billion a year in Spider-Man merchandise, which has a direct correlation to MCU Spider-Man. So Sony didn't lie about anything. You know, I really find this interesting. So let's go back to said article. So this was the article that sent the internet into a frenzy. Let's just face it, guys. Spider-Man is not going to be in the MCU any longer. It's been confirmed pretty much, and there's more articles, more stories. There's a new recent story that just came out that literally reaffirms everything we already knew. Madden Web Spider-Man film is in development at Sony Pictures. Or at least it's allegedly in development, but obviously they're going to use that to spiral into the live-action Spideyverse. Now, Spider-Man's out of the MCU, and I know you guys go at me hard in the comment section, but just guys, be honest, he's out of the MCU. This is no one's fault. So let's get you straight, okay? Kevin Feige takes a job to produce a Star Wars movie. So if you're gonna blame anyone, blame Kevin Feige or blame Disney for giving him the Star Wars role. Because you know why? Star Wars is freaking dying. The ride is dying. Everything is dying. Star Wars is a dying franchise, so experts say, you know? Kids nowadays, they don't go to buy a Han Solo or a Yoda figure, do they? No. They go to buy the Avengers. They go to buy Spiderman. Merchandise sales, Marvel absolutely freaking kills Star Wars merch. And they kill Star Wars at the box office. Yes, I know the latest Star Wars movie hit over 1 billion, but critically speaking, it wasn't very good. So, guys, stop blaming Kevin Feige, stop blaming Sony, stop blaming Disney. It's just a business relationship that is broken down. He said, she said, I said, Warstu said, everyone said. No one said this. So Sony Pictures chief on Spider-Man split. For the moment, the door is closed. Now this goes back to the 5th of September. As of recording this video, it's over 20 days ago. So nowhere in this article did it chronologically say, did Vincent Kara chronologically say that Kevin Feige is to blame at all. Read it. However, he also did acknowledge the fan backlash to the news, saying that it's been an interesting couple of days for the studio. Vincent Sinclair pointed to Marvel boss Kevin Feige being stretched thin with the new addition. So let's think about this chronologically. So you got the MCU to look after. You know, it's going into skeptical times. You know, we don't know what's going to happen with the world economy might crash. You know, the American economy might crash. You don't know what's going to happen. It's a very unstable time for Marvel, okay? Then he takes on, you know, we get the Fantastic Four, cool. We get X-Men, we get Deadpool, we get everything else back. So he's got them, you know, 3 to 4 more franchises on top of everything else in the MCU. Then he takes a job to produce a Star Wars movie, none of which we know is coming. One guy cannot oversee 25 million movies. I mean, he's overseeing all these Disney streaming services, shows, he's overseeing the MCU movies, he's overseeing a lot of other things. He's one person, right? He's basically a project manager. He manages everything. He overlooks everything. He's a producer and a damn fine producer. Spider-Man Far From Home, he overlooked that. That was a really interesting movie. Infinity War, really good. There's been some really interesting MCU movies. There's also been some really bad MCU movies. And that does not really make me any less of a Marvel fan for me to say that. The same as DC. There's been some cool DC movies. There's been some bad DC movies. You know, not everything's always going to be good. But he is stretched thin. You know, do you really think that Spider-Man was supposed to be a pinnacle part of the MCU? And I still hope Spider-Man comes back to the MCU, but I don't really mind if he doesn't. Let's let Sony get Spider-Man 3. Let's see if they do a good job. If they do, cool story, bro. But to say that it's Kevin Feige is kind of Sony lied is not really true, because nowhere in there does it say Kevin Feige is chronologically too busy for Spider-Man, when if you go back and rewatch the Far From Home USA LA premiere, Feige is so passionate about Spider-Man. Then you go to the extended footage on the Far From Home Blu-ray and you find out that Spider-Man was supposed to be a pinnacle part of what was coming next. So it's not Sony's fault, you know. Sony never lied. Sony were just told this. I presume Sony were told this. Now, it would be really weird if Disney goes, yo, Sony Pictures, you know what? Kevin Feige's taking on Star Wars as well. He's doing a Star Wars movie. No. Why would a studio share details about breaking news that isn't even relevant yet? So I get tagged in a bunch of stuff. Sony lies. Sony didn't lie. Sony didn't know the full story. He never said that. He just said he's too busy to take on so much for a little 5% payout for the Marvel Disney company, which is true. If he is going to be taking on a lot of stuff to do with Spider-Man, where he could spend his time on the MCU or spend his time on, you know, Star Wars, rather than spending time on a Spider-Man movie, which they only make 5% of the first dollars, then it makes sense. It really does make sense. I mean, I don't really think they should get 50%, but I think 20% is a fair number, somewhere around there. But I would love to know what you guys say. So guys, please don't say that Sony lied, because that is a fabrication lie itself. If you actually go back, in fact, I'm going to link the article down below so you can read it, and I'll also link it on warstu.com. Sony didn't lie about anything. If anything, who actually did lie? because it's hard, because Kevin Feige hasn't said anything. Marvel has not officially said anything. All Kevin said, he came out after Disney 23 and was like, yeah, the relationship's come to the end. It was never supposed to end. So Sony didn't lie at all. Did Kevin lie? Did Disney lie? Did Disney lie when talking about the Spider-Man situation? Because they may think that him taking on Star Wars, him taking on the MCU with the new Fox properties, and him taking on, you know, Spider-Man is a bigger role in the whole of the MCU, Phase 4, Phase 5, etc. Maybe it should be Disney lied when talking about Spider-Man's future. And that's probably going to be the title of this video. Now, I like to do commentary, informative-based videos. I've laid out all the information. I mean, there's no breaking story about this. This is opinionated. So guys, let me know down below. I'd love to know who's in the wrong, who lied. Did Warstu lie? If Warstu lied, let me know down below. If I lied, let me know down below. I don't know what I can lie about, but this is an opinionated, commentary-based video. So guys, I've read all the articles about Spider-Man, everything that was said, and like I said, realistically, except for this article from Sony's CEO, Vincent Kara, right? That is the only realistic source we have outside of Tom Holland saying, yeah, we've got a cool storyline for Spider-Man 3, and Kevin Feige reaffirming what they've said. They tried to come to a deal, it didn't work, didn't pan out, and then maybe down the road later we get Spider-Man back. So there's no real reason, guys, to blame anyone. Now, I really hope this is gonna be the last Spider-Man video. Damn, Warstu, you literally said that 3 days ago. Yes, I know, I record my own videos, I edit everything, I do everything on this channel and website myself, so I know what I said, because interesting. If we knew this Star Wars information back in September, Sony would not even come into the conversation. Do you really think Kevin can take over Star Wars movie like it's nothing? That is going to put so much pressure onto Kevin Feige's shoulders, having to take care of Star Wars, which is arguably one of the most beloved franchises in the world. I believe Kevin Feige can spin it around. We can get out of the slump that we've been in since the new franchise started. The new franchise, I mean the newer Star Wars movies. So like always, guys, please don't get triggered. I'm not trying to trigger anyone here. I'm just here to deliver some information about, realistically, no one's in the right. Kevin Feige didn't say that. Sony didn't lie. Sony said he's just too busy. And he is too busy. Star Wars and MCU. I mean, realistically, should he spend all his time on Spider-Man 3 when they're only getting 5%? 5% off $1 billion isn't really that much to Marvel. When you got to consider they made $2 billion in EndGame, $2 billion plus Infinity War, $1 billion plus Captain Marvel, $1 billion plus Black Panther. Is it really too much to ask for more than 5%? No. But somewhere down the road, we will come back. Your boy Peter Parker will come back to the MCU. So like always, guys, please like, subscribe, and comment. And I will catch you in another video very soon. Catch ya later.